Oh yeah. And now from North Platte High School Studio B, welcome to Bulldog Banter, where students, stakeholders, and alumni come together to traverse the transformative power of education. This week's episode sponsored by the North Platte Public Schools Foundation and the Flower Market.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bulldog Banter. I'm Maddie Hildebrand.
I'm Aubrey Wagner.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all things North Platte.
And all things fun.
Today we're here with Bishop Craig Loya.
Hi. Glad to be
Hello.
here.
2026
Distinguished alumni.
Alumni,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so did it surprise you when they told you that you won it and stuff? How did you feel?
It was a huge surprise.
Really?
I wasn't even tracking really that the foundation was doing Distinguished Alumni Awards. And one of the funny things that happened is that when Terry sent me the letter to let me know that I was chosen as one of the Distinguished Alumni this year, for some reason the foundation had an old address for me. So it went to a different address and I never received the letter. And so when they hadn't had a response from me, Terry was able to track down an email address for me and let me know by email. So it took me a while to learn, and I was super surprised. It's such a great honor. I'm so excited to be recognized in that way.
Yeah. So are you excited for the big night tonight? If none of you guys know, watching it is tonight is the evening of excellence. So how are you feeling for it? Are you excited?
I'm super excited. I'm going to see people that I haven't seen for many, many years, former teachers and people who were really, really important and formational in my life that I haven't seen for a long time. So I'm really, really excited to be there.
I bet.
Yeah.
So do you want to just tell us and describe your time at North Platte?
Yeah, I had a great time in high school here. My primary community and my primary activities when I was a student here were speech and debate. I was on the speech and debate team, and I was really involved in theater. So those were sort of the two activities that I was most involved in, and I loved every minute of it. I made tons of really great friends. I had amazing teachers who really invested in me. And even though when I was a student here, there's really no way I could have imagined what my life would be like, and I never could have imagined that I would be in the position that I'm in right now. But through every season of my life, the things that I learned through the speech and debate community and in theater and everything else that I got here at North Platte High School has continued to be really important in who I am in the world.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything bad about speech and debate, and I kick myself every day for not doing it.
I
So.
wish I think I
You still
should.
can. You
Yeah.
still
I know.
can.
I think I will because
You got 2
I need
years.
to get better at speech.
It was so great, and for me it was just on a whim. So when I was just starting my sophomore year, Miss Joan Davis was my English teacher my sophomore year of high school, and she was the assistant speech coach. And she just happened one day in class to say to me, "Oh, you should really try the speech and debate team." And I thought, well, I'm not doing anything else. That sounds interesting. And so just sort of on a whim and at her suggestion, I joined, and really responding to that invitation changed the whole course of my life.
Yeah. Did you do any plays in theaters before high school, or?
Never. I was never involved in theater
really?
or anything like it
How'd
before
you
high
get
school.
involved?
I think it was once I joined the speech and debate team, then a lot of the students who were involved heavily in speech and debates, probably still this way, were a lot of the same people who did theater. And
Yeah.
so I got involved in speech and debate, got to be friends with a lot of the people who were in the theater community here at the high school, and then joined up with theater, started theater right after that, and totally fell in love with it. I was a theater major in college,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it became a huge part of my life.
That's fun. I bet theater majoring is so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was really great. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you thought you were going to go into theater, exiting high school?
I did, yeah. I went to college thinking that I was going to do theater, and my whole plan and dream and goal was to be an actor. And so for my first several years of college, that's what I studied, and that's what I wanted to do, and that was the course that I was on.
Was it as fun as high school theater? Or?
Yeah, it was different. Like everything else in college, it people become a little more, they slot into different areas a little more. And so it was more intense, which made the theater in college both more fun and more challenging at the same time than it was in high school. But it was a great community. A lot of my friends are still the friends that I made in the theater community, both in North Platte and when I was in college at Hastings College.
Really?
So when and why did your path change then?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things happened as I got older in my time in college. When I got to be a junior and a senior in college, a couple of different things happened at the same time. I went to Hastings College, which is a Presbyterian college. So one of the requirements at Hastings was you had to take a religion course. And I had never studied theology or religion before in any kind of a serious way. And so I took the course that I had to take as a student at Hastings and really just fell in love with studying religion and studying theology. And I knew that I wanted to do more work studying theology at that point. And then the other thing that happened is that as I got to be a junior and senior, some of my friends who had graduated a year or two before me in theater went out and started getting jobs in the theater world and trying to start a career in theater. And when I would go and visit them and learn about their lives, it really became clear to me, I just don't think I'm cut out to live the theater life. I don't think I have what it takes to make a career in theater. So
That's hard.
those kinds of things came together at the same time that kind of put me on a different course.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've never taken like any type of religion class either. So I'm also like, I don't know a lot. So can you like just tell me like what exactly you do and like stuff like that? Because I just want to really understand.
Absolutely. So my position is I am the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Minnesota. And so the Episcopal Church is a Christian denomination, and the best way to describe the Episcopal Church as a denomination is it's sort of a bridge it's kind of halfway between the Roman Catholic Church and the other Protestant churches. So it's got elements of both Roman Catholicism and of Protestantism. And so in the Episcopal Church, like in the Catholic Church and other traditions, congregations are clustered regionally into something that's called a diocese, which would be like a state or a county or something like that. And the primary leader of a diocese is called the bishop, is the sort of primary leader of a diocese. So my job as the Bishop of Minnesota is to oversee about 90 congregations that are placed all over the state of Minnesota.
Oh gosh,
90.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds like a big job.
Is it hard?
It is a big job. It's a hard job. It's a job that I love. I've never done anything professionally that I feel more called to do or that I love to do more. And so a lot of my job involves traveling all over Minnesota. One of the responsibilities of a bishop is to visit all of the different churches in the diocese on a regular schedule. So pretty much every week I'm driving to some other beautiful small place in Minnesota to visit
stay busy.
one of our congregations. It's a really busy job for sure.
Yeah. So why did you decide you wanted to be in Minnesota?
Well, so I didn't have any connection to Minnesota. I grew up obviously here in North Platte. I went to college in Hastings. I went to graduate school in Connecticut, which is where I met my wife, who's from Lincoln. So she's from Lincoln. I'm from North Platte. We met in Connecticut.
And that college was?
Like you do. That was at Yale University.
Yeah.
It was at Yale University. Yeah. And so after I was ordained as a priest, I had served congregations in South Dakota and in Kansas. And then I was at a congregation in Omaha, Nebraska, and wasn't looking to leave, wasn't thinking about leaving. And when the Diocese of Minnesota started looking for a bishop, I had no connections to Minnesota, but a bunch of people in Minnesota reached out to me, called me, emailed me, and said, hey, we're looking for a bishop. We think you might be the kind of person that we're looking for. Would you consider this? And so that's how I got involved in the process to become the Bishop of Minnesota.
Cool. My roommate's actually from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I had never listened to... I know that you guys, like, apparently, like, you know, you have the accents, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely not that noticeable. Big.
It's exactly right. It's super noticeable.
Flag. I'm like, what do you, a flag? I'm like, a flag?
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
So I love everything about Minnesota. It's a super beautiful place. I love living there. And my favorite story of when I had only been there a couple of months, I was visiting a congregation somewhere in the northern part of Minnesota. And when I was driving home, I stopped at a really famous place that makes these amazing cinnamon rolls, because I thought I'll get cinnamon rolls to bring home to my family since I've been gone for a few days. And when I went and bought the cinnamon rolls and I was getting ready to leave, the person who was at the cash register said, do you want a bag? And I said, I'm sorry, can you tell me that again? And she said, do you want a bag? And I had to say, I'm sorry, I don't actually know what you're asking me right now, because I'd never heard that part of the accent before.
Yeah,
so.
it was really shocking. I was like, I know, like, it's really close to Canada and like Canadian and definitely has influence, but I don't know. I guess I never realized it.
It's real.
It's
I've
different.
never heard someone actually like talk like that.
When
I
you
just like heard about it, but I've never heard someone actually like have the accent.
Yeah, and then my friend also has a roommate from Minnesota, and she was talking in a video. I was like, that's her roommate from Minnesota, because I almost feel like they talk super nasally too. I was like, I can just tell by her voice. Like, it's just different. It's so weird, like how many different accents we have in just one country. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Aubrey's got a little bit of a southern accent.
No, I
sometimes. She's from Texas.
You're from Texas? Really?
Yes,
Wow.
I am.
Oh, great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part about being a bishop?
I think my favorite part about being a bishop is that I get to be with people and communities at some of the most important moments in their lives. So I get to be with people when they are grieving the death of a loved one. I get to be with people when they are celebrating all kinds of new beginnings. I get to be with congregations when they're in moments of crisis or when they're at really critical decision points. And just to be able to be a central part of people's lives in some of the most important moments of their lives is just this immense privilege and opportunity. And it's my favorite part of being bishop, in addition to being able to travel to all the small, beautiful places all over Minnesota and eat the regional food and, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I really have fallen in love with Minnesota culture and everything about the place. So I love being the bishop there.
Is it ever hard on you being a part of some people's like emotional and like very vulnerable parts of their lives?
Yeah, I think that's for anybody who is a faith leader, just like someone who is in lots of professions that involve emotional labor, like being a therapist or, professions like that. It is hard because you're dealing with people at their very best. You're seeing human beings at their very best, and you're seeing human beings at their very worst. Mm-hmm. And so it is really important to learn how to keep your own emotional distance from that while still staying connected to people. And that's also why just doing basic things like taking time off and resting and making sure you're doing the things you can to take care of yourself are really important in those kinds of professions.
Yeah.
Does your family travel with you when you go to like those different counties and stuff? Or?
They don't. They haven't so much. I've brought my daughter Mari with me a few times, but normally they don't travel because they have their own lives, and I have to sort of be all on when I'm the bishop, and so it's hard for that to also be a family experience. The only exception to that is when we go to some of the places in far northern Minnesota, like some of the communities that are along the north shore of Lake Superior. My family really loves that area, and so a lot of times they will come with me when I visit those congregations, and we'll make a little vacation out of it and stay on the shores of Lake Superior for a couple of days and play and do all the things that you do in that region.
Sounds fun.
Do you have a favorite place that you visited in Minnesota?
That's really hard to say because I genuinely like all of them. I think the one that my family and I like the most is a town called Grand Marais, which is way up if you picture Minnesota, the little point at the top of Minnesota, where it joins Canada. It's sort of up almost in the far end of that point, right on the north shore of Lake Superior. And it's just a really beautiful community. It's kind of got an artsy vibe to the community. And we love spending time there. It's just beautiful. And you're on the shores of Lake Superior and love the culture there and everything else.
Yeah. So with having to travel so much, it must be like way different hours than a regular, 9-to-5 job. So like, how is it working kind of different hour type of job?
Yeah, it's got real challenges and real advantages to it. So, as a clergy person, this was true when I was a priest before I became a bishop, and it's true now as a bishop, that most of my work happens, or at least a lot of my work happens on the weekends. So I don't really have Saturdays and Sundays off the way most professionals do. So my regular day off every week is Friday, which is a little unusual because most of the world is working on Friday and I'm off on Friday. So that is challenging in some ways because I miss a lot of the things that happen on the weekends. And in some ways it's really great because I have an opportunity to do things on the weekdays and things at my kids' school and other things that I maybe would be harder to do otherwise.
I heard your daughter say that her grandparents live here. So do you guys come back a lot? Or?
We come back. So both of my parents live here.
Okay.
And so we come back a couple of times a year usually. We usually come back once in the summer. And we're here, most of the time we're here for at least several days around Christmas, during the Christmas break.
Do you think it's changed much at all?
North Platte has changed a ton
You think?
since
Really?
I was a kid. Yeah.
Also,
It's hard to say. It's a really good question. A lot of the things, well, like this school, today is the first day that I walked into this building, which was built 22 years ago. So there's a lot of the buildings and businesses and other things that were around when I was a kid are totally different now. I think the population, the size of North Platte is about the same size as it was when I was growing up. I don't think it's changed meaningfully. Not that I've noticed.
I would have thought it
Time
would
that
look
I've
like
been
grown.
If it has, I've not noticed. It feels like about the same
Not crazy.
category of size as when I was growing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing that happens, I think, over time, as you get older, is that I have also changed a lot. I'm a really different person now than when I lived in North Platte. So when North Platte seems different to me, I'm not always sure if it's because North Platte has changed or if it's because I've changed. And probably the answer is a little bit of both.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you feel like at home here, because I just feel like as much as I want to branch out and leave, I feel like no matter how long, as soon as I step back in North Platte, I'll feel super at home and stuff.
Yeah, I still feel really at home here. I really love this place. I think when I graduated, like most people when they graduate from high school, I was very excited to leave, and I wanted to go somewhere that I thought would be bigger and better and more exciting. And then over time, I think this normally happens as someone gets older, I started to really value all the great things about North Platte that I just took for granted when I was here. And so now, even though I don't live here, I still consider this my home, and I love coming back here.
Yeah. I really want to ask you, how was it at Yale?
It was great. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was an amazing opportunity to study at this world-class university. That's one of the most important centers of education in the world. Really, I mean, it was this immense privilege, and I got to interact with just an incredibly diverse spectrum of people and made lots of good friends. So it was an amazing opportunity.
I bet.
I say if they hadn't graduated me, I would still be there. If they would let me still be there, it was a great time in my life.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was dead set. I was like, I will be going to Harvard. I don't care what any of you guys say. I will be going to Harvard. And then I got a little bit older, and I'm like, it's a little far-fetched, Maddie.
Yeah.
You'll just have to stick to Lincoln.
I loved living there, and I think there's a lot of advantages and opportunities and amazing things about a place like Yale. I also really loved going to Hastings College, and I wouldn't trade that undergraduate experience for anything, because I was able to have a small college where the professors really knew me and were really invested in me, and that was an amazing opportunity for me. And I think the other thing about living in Connecticut, and then when my wife and I were first married, after that we lived in Massachusetts for a short amount of time. Part of what that taught me, it was exciting to live in these very different places than North Platte, Nebraska. But it also really taught me how much I'm a Midwesterner at heart, and how much I really love Nebraska and I really love this part of the country. So I was grateful to have had that opportunity. And this part of the country is where I belong, and it's where my heart's home is. So I'm grateful to be here.
See, that's what I just need to figure out. I haven't been anywhere east. I'm like, I want to go over there. I want to go to New York. I want to go to Chicago.
I want to go to New York so bad.
Yeah, I want to go. Yeah, girl, me too.
Yeah, I love visiting those places, and I loved living there for a short amount of time.
Right.
But I can't imagine now living anywhere else other than the middle part of the country. I really love it
Yeah, I
here.
have a feeling that's how I'm going to be too. Because I was just in Cheyenne, Wyoming, which isn't far, but like as soon as I got back in North Platte, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Even like when Mari and I were driving to North Platte from Minnesota on Wednesday, we took a route that we've never taken before. So we took these back highways that went through the Sand Hills. So we came in from Sioux City, Iowa, through the northeastern part of Nebraska, and then down into this part. And one of the things I've noticed having grown up here is even when I'm driving in the Sand Hills, like my whole body just relaxes and my whole blood pressure goes down. And like I just feel when I see that landscape or when I'm in that landscape, I just feel at home. And,
Yeah.
and that's different. I took that for granted when I was growing up because it was just here. And it was really the experience of having lived in other places that made me appreciate how much I really love this landscape.
That's how I feel about
place
like
here.
going back to like Texas and stuff. It's like I'm at home now. All my family's here and like calm, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, home is a really important concept in
Yeah,
life,
it is.
and we can find and make home in lots of different ways. So I will always be grateful that North Platte is my home, and will always consider this place my home.
That's so sweet. Do you think that like North Platte High School or just high schools in general have changed a lot since you were a student?
For sure, and I think partly that's just about how much the world has changed since I was a student. I mean, when I graduated from North Platte High School in 1995, which I'm not good at math, but it was about like 150 years ago when I graduated.
Right.
And that was before the internet. It was before, in some ways, information technology has just changed the world so vastly that how schools prepare students for the future just has to be totally different than when I was a student. I mean, when I was a student, I don't think we could have ever conceived of the high school having a facility like the one that we're recording in. It wasn't a thing that the school had to prepare students at that time to do. In my roles as the Bishop of Minnesota, we have two Episcopalian schools in Minnesota, and so I have some exposure to those two schools and the students at those schools, and everything's so different. And I honestly think that being a high school student right now is a lot more challenging than when I was a student. I think what you all are faced with in terms of challenges and technology and just what that does to the world, the pace of life, the ways in which people are both connected and disconnected from each other is way more challenging than when I was a student. So I have a ton of respect and admiration for high school students right now.
That's actually so refreshing to hear because you always hear the opposite from adults, and like I'm not diminishing like anything from your guys' high school experience at all. Like I probably also couldn't have learned like straight from a book, but sometimes like they just don't really believe how hard it is in school now because of technology and social media and all that stuff. Like we had to have our phones taken away this whole school year. Like gosh, which honestly was good.
I think it was good.
It was good. Like I honestly was not on my phone that often, unless I had free time. I wasn't. Don't. But there's definitely some students that it helps. Even like my friend Reagan, she was like, yeah, like that. Like I loved it because she was always on her phone and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
I think it like helps people connect better too, just because like the phone's not in your hand, making you like not talk to each other.
yeah,
You know?
that's the one thing that I don't like about going to school in this generation is I feel like none of us are connected at all.
Yeah, and your generation in particular, I think you all, from my perspective, are coming of age at a time when, 15 or 20 years ago, when smartphones and everything else were new and were just emerging into the culture, they brought with them this promise that with smartphones and social media, that was going to make the world more connected than it has ever been. And you all now are coming of age and graduating into a world where it is now clear to most of us that actually all the technology has almost had the opposite effect of what it promised 20 years ago. And so I just can't imagine what that's like. Adolescence is always challenging, no matter what era or age you grow up in. It's always a challenge. And to have to navigate those challenges with all of that is just an added layer on top of what's normal in high school.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, fresh.
Again, not super knowledgeable about bishops and stuff like that. But so can you go any higher? Like, is there like a promotion or anything like that you can do? And if you could, like, would you take it?
It's hard to give a short answer to that question because the governance structure of the Episcopal Church is a little complicated and hard to explain, and would quickly wear out how interesting it is to anybody who's not in it. The shortest possible answer is that in the Episcopal Church, there really is not anybody, there's not a position that's over a diocesan bishop. We do have what's called a presiding bishop, who's sort of the head of the Episcopal Church, the sort of head bishop of the Episcopal Church. So that is a position that is higher up the hierarchy than I am. And it's hard to imagine being interested in that position.
Right, that'd probably be a lot.
Indeed.
More
Like
than
where you are.
what you're already doing.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that person, his name is Sean Rowe, he's fantastic, but he's traveling around the country and around the world about 80% of the time.
Oh, God.
Holy
So
cow.
he's on the road about 80% of his life, which is, I'm really grateful that he's willing to do that.
Yeah,
And it seems
definitely-
really hard.
Definitely not a job for a family guy who's
Yeah.
just
Indeed, yeah.
wanting to stay in Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah.
It's cool, though. It's a really cool job to just travel and help people. Like,
Very interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really great. And again, I never would have imagined when I graduated from North Platte High School, there's no way that I would say in 32 years, here's where I will be and what I
Yeah.
will be doing.
You never know what you're going to be able
I
to
know.
do. and
Never
stuff.
knew, And I mean, this is the great thing is that even though when I graduated, when I was a senior here, there's no way I could have looked 31 or 32 years into the future and said, this is where I'll be and this is what I'll be doing. And at the same time, I use things that I learned at North Platte High School every single day in my job. I mean, that was where, even though I couldn't have imagined my career trajectory, all of the skills, all of the gifts that were nurtured in me, all of the things that I'm good at, all of the things that I can contribute to the world, all of the values, the things that I think are important, all of that was really cemented at North Platte High School.
It's a great school.
we love North Platte High School.
Yeah.
I really do. I know, guys, I know I just graduated, okay? But walking back through, I was like, wow, like, I'm really done. Like, I'm kind of sad. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready for college. And Willie's like, don't rush it, whatever, blah, 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 the same stuff everybody hears.
Yeah.
But really coming back, I was like, wow, I'm never going to go into Mr. Cromie's classroom ever again. Like, this is sad.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you'll have a great time when you come back
Yeah.
as the distinguished alumni
Oh,
in a
thank
handful of
you.
years, however long that takes.
I sure hope so. That's
Yeah.
my thing. Like, I think I'll go into media, but at this point, like, I don't know what I'll
Yeah.
do. I'm just hoping that I'm successful.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I took from North Platte High School, this is really to me one of the essential values of high school education. And I think this was also true for me in college, is that it's not so much that I learned how to do a thing at North Platte High School or even at Hastings College, but really North Platte High School didn't teach me how to do a thing. It made me into the person that I am, which means I'm going to take that person into anything that I do as a job or as a career. And over the course of our lives, we'll pick up all kinds of new knowledge and new skills and change as the world changes. But we don't ever get a second chance to form the kind of person that we are.
Yeah.
That's really the work of a community like North Platte High School.
That's how I feel regardless of what I go and do in my future. I know that because of the podcast and because of all the media stuff, like being in Willie's class, like, I truly do not know what kind of person I would be if I hadn't started all this and been in this community. And, I have some really good friends that I, made just because of this. So
Yeah,
I'm just excited for the future and to see.
absolutely. Me too. Yeah, super hopeful.
So what are you most excited for tonight?
So I think one of the things I'm most excited about is just to be there with that community. And one of the people that I'm going to see tonight that I've not seen, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw him, was Skip Altig was the speech and theater teacher when I was a student here. I mean, Skip was one of the most important people in my life. And I haven't seen him for a long time, and he's going to be there tonight. So I'm probably most excited to see Skip Altig tonight.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be excited too. All right. Well, what's your best advice just for anybody, high school students, best advice just for life?
Yeah, I think, the biggest gift that I was given at North Platte High School was teachers who believed in me before I knew how to believe in myself. And it was from their belief in me that I learned how to believe in myself. And the most important thing, that's been the most important thing in my life, is learning how to trust myself and learning how to believe in my own abilities. So I think my best advice to people who are just starting out or who are high school students is you are better than you know, you're smarter than you think, and so much of life is about learning how to trust and believe the unique person that you are in the world.
That's honestly a new one. I feel like that's advice that we don't actually hear a lot. So thank you. Gonna make my head bigger than it already is. Telling me. No, but thank you so much for coming on. You're amazing to talk to.
Thanks for having me. This is a great opportunity.
Fun.
I'm glad to be here.
Congratulations on your distinguished alumni.
Thank you.
It's like a great achievement. So I will see you tonight. Actually, I think this is my last one, guys. I don't know. Who knows at this point? So. Maybe see you next time. Aubrey will see you next time.
I will.
Bye, guys.
Bye.